we are going to review Donald Trump's inauguration speech. However, with a different approach, a thematic analysis of its content. That is, looking at emergent themes that arise from the text throughout the video. The value of this, one, it demonstrates a different method to interpret the mass number of messages we receive on a daily basis, either in face-to-face interaction or digital interaction. Second, it creates a bit of separation from the speaker by focusing on the content rather than the individual who is delivering it. It provides a more objective lens to come to a reasonable judgment about the message and possibly about the person later on. Following the video, we will discuss the findings and their implications. So please be sure to like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you are notified when the next video comes out. Let's watch and reflect.
Thank you very much, everybody. Well, thank you very, very much. Vice President Vance, Speaker Johnson, Senator Thune, Chief Justice Roberts, Justices of the United States Supreme Court, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow citizens. The golden age of America begins right now.
So the golden age begins right now. This is a transformative theme that is carried out throughout, so something to be aware of.
From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scale.
Again, very transformative. Also, the American exceptionalism, putting America first. We're the greatest in the world, that kind of stuff.
Of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end.
This is an interesting theme that goes throughout this speech. It's a bit of a victimhood type of theme. And it not only is perpetuated out in general to the people, but also on an individual level, which is interesting.
And our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free. America will soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before.
Again, the clear theme of American exceptionalism.
I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country, sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face. While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America. As we gather today, our government confronts a crisis of trust. For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens while the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair. We now have a government.
This is very interesting. It is a populist and anti-establishment theme.
That cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time stumbling into a continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad. It fails to protect our magnificent, law-abiding American citizens, but provides sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have illegally entered our country from all over the world.
So here again, we have the crisis. This is another thing that comes up a significant amount, that being illegal aliens, immigrants, however you wish to define it, criminals, such thing as that.
We have a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American borders or, more importantly, its own people. Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly. And other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago. Or more recently, Los Angeles, where we're watching fires still tragically burn from weeks ago without even a token of defense. They're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer. That's interesting.
It's interesting that he is very inclusive, and it's also interesting how he attaches victimhood with his own experience, his perception of it, and the people's. It really creates an excellent bandwagon effect to the theme. It's effective.
Can't let this happen. Everyone is unable to do anything about it. That's going to change. We have a public health system that does not deliver in times of disaster, yet more money is spent on it than any country anywhere in the world. And we have an education system that teaches our children to be ashamed of themselves in many cases, to hate our country despite the love that we try so desperately to provide to them. All of this will change starting today, and it will change very quickly.
So what's considered moral values, and by what's considered, I mean more associated with conservative values.
My recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal and all of these many betrayals that have taken place, and to give the people back their faith, their wealth, their democracy, and indeed their freedom. From this moment on, America's decline is over.
The betrayal comment is very interesting. I believe, although I'm assuming, it is in reference to his experience with the Justice Department.
Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government. Over the past 8 years, I have been tested and challenged more than any president in our 250-year history, and I've learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one, that I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
That is interesting. Very interesting. It carries the common religious theme that is a staple to most speeches, but the divine providence that he is implying to his purpose in taking this position. That's interesting.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. That is why each day under our administration of American patriots, we will be working to meet every crisis with dignity and power and strength. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. For American citizens, January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day.
So, unity, transformation, two big themes.
It is my hope that our recent presidential election will be remembered as the greatest and most consequential election in the history of our country. As our victory showed, the entire nation is rapidly unifying behind our agenda with dramatic increases in support from virtually every element of our society, young and old, men and women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, urban, suburban, rural, and very importantly, we had a powerful win in all 7 swing states, and the popular vote, we won by millions of people.
The inclusivity is an important theme, a good message.
To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I've heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and his honor, this will be a great honor, but in his honor, we will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true.
This really goes in line with his recent policies that are proposed regarding a merit-based immigration system. If I recall correctly, one of MLK's very important comments was that people should be judged on merit rather than race.
Thank you. Thank you. National unity is now returning to America, and confidence and pride is soaring like never before. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country, we will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God. Can't do that. Today, I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense.
Some more restoration, renewal, this transformation, one of economic, but also a little twist on it with values. this common sense type of theme. There is a really important delineation between the two.
First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border.
So crisis, that's another consistent one that we've heard.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country. Under
the catch and release phrase is very interesting. I never thought of it this way, but it does kind of grant the attributes of an animal. For example, the catching of a fish and releasing it. One could have certain thoughts about the appropriateness of that phrase.
The orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Good thing, in my opinion.
And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities.
And drugs.
As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody's ever seen before. Next, I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices.
So economic restoration. Another one, a usual one in most political speeches.
The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices, and that is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
So now, some may interpret that as a step back, not progressive, but this is a restoration of certain beliefs, going back to manufacturing, going back to what we would consider this old approach. On a side note, I can't stand that we're still not building nukes. They're so effective and so clean now.
America will be a manufacturing nation once again, and we have something that no other manufacturing nation will ever have, the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we are going to use it. We're going to use it. We will bring prices down, fill our strategic reserves up again, right to the top, and export American energy all over the world. We will be a rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help to do it. With my actions today, we will end the Green New Deal and we will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers. In other words, you'll be able to buy the car of your choice. We will build automobiles in America again at a rate that nobody could have dreamt possible just a few years ago. And thank you to the auto workers of our nation for your inspiring vote of confidence. We did tremendously with their vote. I will immediately begin the overhaul of our trade system to protect American workers and families. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens. For this purpose, we are establishing the External Revenue Service to collect all tariffs, duties, and revenues. It will be massive amounts of money pouring into our treasury, coming from foreign sources. The American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before to restore competence and effectiveness to our federal government. My administration will establish the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America.
Free speech. This is an interesting concept. And I think it's often misunderstood. For example, if I go over to your home and I begin saying things that you disagree with, I don't like, or performing actions that are not appropriate, I'm in your house and you have the right to get me out. Now, it is the same, for example, on YouTube and other distributors who provide a platform. It is their house and they have the right as well to kick me out or kick anyone else out if they disagree with the message. It's a little bit different than I think of how we usually perceive it.
Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents.
So again, the persecution, the victimhood, this anti-establishment theme.
Something I know something about. We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law.
Implying that we have not had this.
And we are going to bring law and order back to our cities.
More restoration.
This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
So the restoration of values, that's a big one that's coming out of this. And by restoration of values, I mean a certain group of society's perceived values of what is appropriate and what is not. Also, on a side note, how are you supposed to implement that? It's a nice idea, but signing a piece of paper is not going to stop that cultural or social change, especially as it's not coming down from the government. These are primarily ideas that are perpetuated out of academia. And now socially accepted by a different generation and will continue forward.
This week, I will reinstate any service members who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay. And I will sign an order to stop our warriors from being subjected to radical political theories and social experiments while on duty. It's going to end immediately. Our armed forces will be freed to focus on their sole mission, defeating America's enemies. Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into.
That's one that's not necessarily touched on a ton, but the isolationism that is incorporated in that message, that's an important one, at least when it comes to foreign policy.
My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier. I'm pleased to say that as of yesterday, one day before I assumed office, the hostages in the Middle East are coming back home to their families. Thank you. America will reclaim its rightful place as the greatest, most powerful, most respected nation on earth, inspiring the awe and admiration of the entire world. A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and we will restore the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley, where it should be and where it belongs. President McKinley made our country very rich through tariffs and through talent. He was a natural businessman and gave Teddy Roosevelt the money for many of the great things he did, including the Panama Canal, which has foolishly been given to the country of Panama after the United States. The United States, I mean, think of this, spent more money than ever spent on a project before and lost 38,000 lives in the building of the Panama Canal. We have been treated very badly from this foolish gift that should have never been made, and Panama's promise to us has been broken.
More unjust treatment.
The purpose of our deal and the spirit of our treaty has been totally violated. American ships are being severely overcharged and not treated fairly in any way, shape, or form, and that includes the United States Navy. And above all, China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
Consistent themes of restoration.
Above all, my message to Americans today is that it is time for us to once again act with courage, vigor, and the vitality of history's greatest civilization. So as we liberate our nation, we will lead it to new heights of victory and success. We will not be deterred. Together we will end the chronic disease epidemic and keep our children safe, healthy, and disease-free. The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
More exceptionalism, expressing our values, the frontier.
Ambition is the lifeblood of a great nation. And right now, our nation is more ambitious than any other. There's no nation like our nation. Americans are explorers, builders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and pioneers. The spirit of the frontier is written into our hearts. The call of the next great adventure resounds from within our souls. Our American ancestors turned a small group of colonies on the edge of a vast continent into a mighty republic of the most extraordinary citizens on earth. No one comes close. Americans pushed thousands of miles through a rugged land of untamed wilderness. They crossed deserts, scaled mountains, braved untold dangers, won the Wild West, ended slavery, rescued millions from tyranny, lifted billions from poverty, harnessed electricity, split the atom, launched mankind into the heavens, and put the universe of human knowledge into the palm of the human hand. If we work together, there is nothing we cannot do and no dream we cannot achieve. Many people thought it was impossible for me to stage such a historic political comeback. But as you see today, here I am. The American people have spoken. I stand before you now as proof that you should never believe that something is impossible to do. In America, the impossible is what we do best.
Good statement. Powerful.
From New York to Los Angeles, from Philadelphia to Phoenix, from Chicago to Miami, from Houston to right here in Washington, D.C., Our country was forged and built by the generations of patriots who gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. They were farmers and soldiers, cowboys and factory workers, steel workers and coal miners, police officers and pioneers who pushed onward, marched forward, and let no obstacle defeat their spirit or their pride. Together they laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, built great highways, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and triumphed over every single challenge that they faced. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. With your help, we will restore America's promise, and we will rebuild the nation that we love, and we love it so much. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. So to every parent who dreams for their child, and every child who dreams for their future, I am with you, I will fight for you, and I will win for you. We're going to win like never before. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. In recent years, our nation has suffered greatly, but we are going to bring it back and make it great again, greater than ever before. We will be a nation like no other, full of compassion, courage, and exceptionalism. Our power will stop all wars and bring a new spirit of unity to a world that has been angry, violent, and totally unpredictable. America will be respected again and admired again, including by people of religion, faith, and goodwill. We will be prosperous. We will be proud. We will be strong, and we will win like never before. We will not be conquered. We will not be intimidated. We will not be broken, and we will not fail. From this day on, the United States of America will be a free, sovereign, and independent nation. We will stand bravely. We will live proudly. We will dream boldly, and nothing will stand in our way because we are Americans. The future is ours.
Because we're badass.
And our golden age has just begun. Thank you. God bless America. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. A lot there, and some things to discuss regarding consistent themes throughout it. One interesting one is the religion. Now, again, this isn't unique, and it is one of those things that is a mandatory political theme, without that much significance. It's pretty much a thing that you have to adopt no matter what political office that you hold. Otherwise, it's going to push a portion of that vote out. But the significant thing that is embedded within that, a little twist in the statement, was this divine providence, that he has a purpose. This communicates that individuals may perceive themselves as having this divine purpose, which I'm a little weary of such a message. This could be simply a device to pull support from the faithful population and give favor for whatever acts are to be taken in the future. Or it could imply that he believes he has a divine purpose, an instrument of God, so to say, that his will is God's will. And this is something that we should be cautious about. A lot of things have been done by leaders with the thought that they are fulfilling some sort of prophecy, or in the name of God, for example. I'm not bashing religion or anything like that. I'm just saying there have been events in history that have occurred, certain patterns of behavior, and it's something that we should consider, right? Another interesting thing, victimhood. This is interesting and a bit unique to the message. It's an interesting twist one, that he is a victim of persecution, so too the people are a victim of persecution. I'll demonstrate this and then discuss. So, for example, you have the quote, "The unfair weaponization of the Justice Department." Although not direct, I think it's clear he is referring to charges brought upon him, and he also made other statements implying such a thing as well. The "I've been tested and challenged more than any other president," a quote-unquote horrible betrayal. We have the assassination attempt, political persecution. Now, when it comes to the people, we have the people as victim to immigrants, criminals, our government, very much an anti-establishment theme. We have the crises that have occurred to the people of LA, people of North Carolina. We have a national emergency. We have censorship, the fight against social change. What is interesting about this is it is a frame of mutual victimhood and mutual persecution. And I think this is a very powerful and effective way to gather support. One, it gets people on your side. You can resonate with others who feel the same way. It generates empathy between the parties. What I would be cautious of is you can justify a lot of behaviors from this. It puts you in a self-defense stance. And that blurs a little bit of ethical lines there because you are punching back, right? You are reacting to something that has been done to you. Self-defense is much different and perceived in a much different way. If you are being shot at first and you shoot back and you happen to hurt someone, it is considered justified. So something to consider there. We have the consistent theme of American exceptionalism. Again, not too unique. Another mandatory thing. I get it. I see this concept as an excellent motivator and an effective deterrent to outside threats as well. As in, we portray ourselves in a certain way, for example, it can deter others. However, I do think it's important to consider others' perception of that belief and behavior. It can affect foreign policy. It can be interpreted as imperialistic, exclusionary, and some cultures just find it simply rude with our behavior. So it's interesting. It's effective. We have the transformation aspect of this. These crises and restoration of values that are considered older. That was very common. We have the economic restoration, another classic and expected. A little bit of a twist, you have the focus on fossil fuels. We have the unity, discussions of race, sex, gender, what have you, coming together on these common social beliefs. Bit of populism and the anti-authority. The rhetorical devices used, a lot of hyperbole, which he's very well known for, and a little bit of the antagonistic language. One thing going through this, some of the words that are used, I would say, are uncommon in most political speeches, such as annihilated, vicious, violent, unfair, weaponization, crisis of trust, radical, corrupt establishment, disrepair, catastrophic events, hate, disaster, betrayal. You get the point. This is where there are criticisms of his rhetoric, because these are strong words. And it is fair. It's considering others' perceptions of it and how they will react to that language. It can be a bit threatening. So, kind of bringing this all together to the purpose of this, it does create more of an objective frame in which to analyze and interpret a message are these themes that you resonate with, the pros and the cons. There are positives and there are negatives. Removing the individual from the situation, although that's very difficult to do, especially with everything that's going on, it leaves it still open to interpretation, but we have a choice in seeing if we align with those values and that message. Something to consider. Let me know what you think, and we'll get ready for the next podcast on Thursday. So you can now find To Speak Online on every major podcast, from Spotify to Apple Music. Please continue to join us at 7 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays on YouTube. I'm thinking of adding a less structured broadcast with guests, my friends, for example, and others. It would give more time for interaction. I'm not that guy who can just ramble and react, but I can sit and have a meaningful conversation. Let me know what you think or want. Stay tuned. We will keep growing. I appreciate all your support, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great night.